How much have you guys made now?
This year we are 2 billion in sales. And then so far we've built 16 houses. So the volume is making sense. Become a realtor, you make the fastest money. I've seen magic happen with us here. We have people that have been with us for less than a year. They made more than 10 million in commission. To become a realtor, that's the fastest way if you don't have money. If you have money, partnership with developers is very underrated. You can double your money in 18 months if you partner with the right developer and the right team. What I usually recommend to people that have a lot of money is buy land, sign a JV. You will triple the value of your land by the time the developer finishes building.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Angry Money Pod. This episode it's going to be amazing. It's one of those episodes that you're going to learn a lot about money, investment, real estate, plenty things that will make you grow as a person. And we're here with Bright. Bright is one of my oldest friends. He is a real estate developer. He's the co-founder of Flinx Realty. He's been around the game for a very long time, and we're really excited to have you here. Hello, Bright. How are you doing?
Hello, Michael. I'm fine. I'm very fine. What's up?
Awesome. Welcome. And if you say, how are you doing, by the way?
No, I'm fine. I'm alright.
You good? You don't sound all right, too. Your voice is very low.
I don't sound alright. Maybe I'm not, though. And
Yes.
maybe I'm actually not. But in this life, you move. But yeah.
Tinubu economy is not touching you.
He touched on $10
You
Michi. He's touching Dangote. I love
Did
$10
you
not US. Why you doing like this?
I saw a tweet. Person was like, in my 30 years, Dangote has never complained about the economy. For Dangote to complain now,
No, seriously, real. He hasn't.
He hasn't actually.
At this point,
Oh
you should
my
go on I
God.
Said What I Said podcast. You should say his mind. You should just say
That
everything
was
that he has
them
on his mind,
there.
just once and for all.
We have a tradition in the pod that allows us to ask our guests something to describe themselves in a way outside of work, outside of real estate. So,
Outside of work,
who is Bright? Yes, who is Bright outside of
right.
work? Can you describe yourself?
So I think the best way I can describe myself is I'll draw a reference from a conversation I had with a client. The client asked me, which is like the first time a client is asking me that kind of question. Which of the friends am I more like in the TV show Friends? So if you've not seen Friends, well, you should have. They released it in 1990, so if you've not seen it, please work on yourself. So I'll describe myself as a little bit of Chandler. I make a lot of jokes. I'm always making jokes. Then I'm slightly weird like Phoebe. You know how Phoebe just likes a lot of weird things. And at work, I'm a Monica. Very organized, very strict. So I might say I'm wicked, but don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. So I have I think they're slightly of a dreamer like Joey. The way Joey has this imagination. Joey is very delusional as to where his career is. So I'm also quite delusional about my career like that. My career style with delusion is moving with delusion, where you're small, but you think you can do so much. And then so that's how I describe myself outside work.
That's a very interesting way of I've asked this question so many times and no one has really described themselves in a very entertaining way as you just did. So who is Bright in work? Who is Bright right now?
Work. Interesting. So at work, I consider myself an actor, right? My work personality, sometimes I look at it and I'm like, is that really me? So me at work, I am very straightforward. I try to cut out unnecessary things as much as possible, especially in conversations. So personally, I don't like people greeting me. I told them at work, stop greeting me, but they don't used to hear. They keep greeting me, every morning. So I'm very straightforward and I'm willing to say the uncomfortable things. Very really. Because I know if we don't talk about it now, it will be a problem for tomorrow. And to be honest, I don't want to pile up problem for future brights. Because I'm guessing future bright has a lot of problem already in store for him. So I'm very, very straightforward, very strict / disciplined. And then once in a while, I make jokes. Once in a while.
That's interesting.
But
I
good
like
ones. Whenever I
what you just mentioned. I like what you just mentioned, which is like you don't want to pile up stuff for future brights. That's a very interesting way of saying that. Future brights, he has a ton of problems. I don't want to be dashing him more things.
But there's no need to keep work for him. I'm like, we'll handle it later. No, let's do it now, please. Later already has problem installed for it.
Before I even go down to real estate, I'm curious to see how you manage your team. how does a typical day look like for Brian?
So typical day. So I first write down things I'm going to do. So when I write down things I'm going to do, I highlight three maximum four are the ones that like I have to do, like me, bright, I have to do. But when I get to the office, first meeting, I have two executive assistants. I meet with them, share the rest to them. Okay, you, this is what you are doing. You, this is what you are doing. Then probably in the two will probably be meetings with other people in the company. Like, okay, let's talk. So with time, I think nowadays, I'm trying to do more of what I'm trying. I think I've been promoting myself small, small. Before I was sales, then I moved to head of sales. Now I'm more in a chief operation officer. I'm doing more of that where my own is okay. How's this department doing? How's this department doing? Getting reports, then reduce how much of salesperson work I'm doing and how much of head of sales I'm doing. So anything sales marketing, I try to push it to the people who are already trained for those jobs. I do less of that. And hopefully by God's grace, I'm working towards chairman level. When I get to chairman level, I'm never be coming to work. I just be calling people and having executive meetings. Only God can do it. But that's my dream. That is my dream. I want to be a chairman. So I can live this work life thing. But I know that even if I get to that level, it's only a matter of time. One startup idea will hit my head. It's only because it's really boring. Relaxing
And
is nice for
you
like
jump back
the
in.
first 2 weeks. But the first 1 week, after that, it kind of gets boring. I can see you
I
guys are
think
nodding your
that's
head.
what we
You've
see
experienced
from
it too,
most
Abby.
people that are. That's what we've noticed from most people that are actually workaholics. They can't stand still for a while, even if they're taking a break. I have a friend that just sold his business in Dubai last year, and 12 months later, like he's already doing a new startup. And I'm just like, you just sold after hustling for like 6-7 years
Bro,
of building
it's
your
the
stuff.
life.
You don't rest, don't relax.
I am sure when he was hustling, he was complaining how he wants to be done with it. How he just wants to move on. But once you move on, you realize, oh
Yes,
boy, this is boring.
it's
So
boring.
Tell
it's
me
the
about
I
life.
it.
know that you're yeah, and
What you
I know
say?
that you're in real estate. Let's say for the longest time. I know that you've been in real
Okay.
estate for the longest time. How did you start? Why did you even decide to pick real estate, and how did you start it off in the first place?
So why I started real estate, so the real story, I don't share it often because of the real story is weird. 2017, I had this idea, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, right? I started like maybe three, four business. Like that was when the gala thing happened where I was selling gala in hostel. But I think I started one and
Mm,
then it failed. That was like the fourth one that year. I was really down. Then I went for a prayer. This is the true story. I don't say this often. So I went for a prayer walk. Then I was praying. Then I had this, I don't know what to call it, that is mini vision or something. But in that thought
mm,
process, I saw a lot of buildings. Then I was thinking, buildings, real estate, not bad, not bad. Then on that same prayer walk, I was like, okay, how do I do that? I remembered that my roommate in year one was a fanatic about real estate. He liked property, which is Adigun. So I remember because then he even asked me to help him get property. That he wanted to lease a property in year one. So he called me because he knows I'm everywhere. I kind of know things. I'm a busybody kind of guy.
mm,
So it's like, okay, if anybody will know where properties are, is this guy. Me, I did not know. But also when he came to me, I also know that if anybody can figure it out, it's me. So I helped him get a property for
mm.
lease. So he wanted to lease a property in Abuja for 15 years. We got it for 1.2 million. That was 2016. We got it for 1.2 million. And
Very
in
cheap.
fact, it was a
Oh
good
my
deal. It was a
goodness.
good deal. 15-year lease, 1.2 million. And it was a one bedroom, not studio, room and parlor in
Oh my
Abuja.
goodness.
So after closing the deal, and I think at my agency fee, I discussed 100K as agency fee with him. Then he didn't have the money. He was willing to borrow, except he wasn't 18 yet. He was 17. So nobody was willing to borrow 17-year-old money. Then he came to me, he was like, oh, you are like 18, 19. Why don't you go and borrow the money? And I looked at him like, you have to be out of your mind to think that I will go and borrow 1.2 million at this my age. To me, he was a crazy person because what kind of audacity is that to go and be borrowing money at that age? You're not even 18 years. Don't you think it's a sign? If people are telling you they can't borrow you money because you're too young, it should be a good sign not to even do it. So I just saw him as a
Not to
crazy guy.
bother.
But at that moment, when I was thinking about real estate, I'm like, this guy will be somebody that will make sense to partner with. So I met with him, we talked, and then that's when we even started deciding what are we going to even do before we now landed on get to self-servicing. And over time, for Flinx was a different story. Flinx was, we were thinking, okay, this get to self thing is doing well. We need 1 billion naira. So the next milestone, we're thinking, how do we grow this business to hit 1 billion? And we know that even if we help all the students in Unila get to never reach 1 billion. So we started looking for something else before we now landed on poverty
Crazy.
development and all those things. So that's how my journey in real estate started.
Looking for a stable investment that allows you to earn in dollars, naira, and pounds? Kebble is here for you. Kebble allows you to easily invest in global real estate projects for a fraction of the cost. You can decide to invest through the automated plan and get assets updated to your plan, or you can pick and choose the investment that works best for you through Kebble deals. You can earn up to 30% per annum in naira assets or up to 15% per annum in dollars. Investing is only for Nigerians both at home and abroad, and all investments are SEC compliant. To get started, download the app on any app store or go to www.kebble.co. Start investing in global real estate assets today.
It's incredible to hear the story because number one, I like the fact that you also mentioned like God was
Oh
one
yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah. I'm less religious
initiators
now, but
to
I
let you
got
into
I
the
got
business.
absolute truth.
The other
Yeah, I
thing
have to
was
say the
that you
truth.
have
That's
to.
why I started.
There was a
Yeah,
partnership that interesting. There was also a partnership with Adego. Adego, if you guys don't know, Adego is his partner in Flinx.
yeah.
Basically his partner in business.
It's becoming to life partner,
And
Abby. Don't worry, I'll
I
start
met you
doing some
guys.
things on my own.
Yes, my life partner. Life partner. And another thing I've noticed is just the audacity. You people have actually been very audacious to try new
Yeah,
things at each level. You guys, I've seen like, oh, let's just do it. We'll figure it out. And I've seen you
Abby.
guys enter into projects that you guys had no business entering into, but you made it
Yeah,
work.
no, I'm sure most time when we enter, people when we go to pitch project ideas, I remember because I usually pitch a lot. They're like, "You guys are beating more than you can chew," and to be honest, they were right. I might have not agreed with them, but we were beating more than we can chew. But the only thing is, after a while, we kind of figure out how to chew it. We start chewing it. Before you know, it's so easy to chew. We'll now look for something else to beat that is bigger than we can chew.
Yeah.
So it's been the cycle.
I
How many
really like
projects have
that.
you guys done? Yeah, it's very interesting. Like, bite more
I've
than you
never
can
heard
chew,
this
guys.
story
As
before.
late as
Like I've never heard this story before. I'm curious to how much you have made now. Like then you wanted to make that. How much have you guys made now?
For money, the thing is real estate development it's not really a profitable thing like that. Let's be honest. So, but what I can tell you is volumes in sale because profits
Hmm.
yeah.
is like you sometimes you catch it, sometimes you don't. And you will never know till you are at the end. It's at the end you will know if you got profit or not. But one thing I've also noticed is when your volume is
Yeah.
high, you will still make good money. So if you have high volume, like this year we are almost 2 billion in sales this year. So just properties. And then so far we've built 16 houses. So we built 16 houses. This year we've done close to 2 billion already. So the volume is making sense now.
That's
Interesting.
interesting.
Interesting. So, guys, if you want to get to a billion, I know Bright's phone number. I can send it to you.
wait, 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 is it for business or personal? Because let me let you know. I know, please don't put me in trouble. I'm not single. Please. I don't want wahala in this my life. Is there anybody in this
Oh
podcast? I'm not single. Wait,
god.
please. Let's put it on the record. Or someone will come and accuse me of something.
Oh my
Really,
goodness.
you don't like
You
trouble
guys
for
have done
future
16
brides. You really
projects.
don't like trouble.
Please,
Actually,
please. No more
future bride
wahala.
needs to be stress free.
Thank you, exactly.
How many
Because
projects have
tomorrow
you
you will
guys?
not start explaining. I said it like this, I did not say it's my care. You will testify. I will call you, you will come and testify what happened.
Chicken.
Yeah.
In terms of, I have a question on projects, right? What type of projects have you guys been doing so far? Like, what's the typical like type of project? Is it like 1 bedroom, 2
Okay, what
bedroom?
kind
Like,
of
how
project
is
we
it
doing
looking
so
like
far?
for you guys?
So We said or we
Yeah.
lease because that one had the least barrier of entry. So a lot more people are willing to give you their
Yeah.
properties on lease. So what we mostly do is we meet landowners, we tell them, oh, we are going to build a house like this. Give us your land, we will build it and then give you a part of it. So that way we were able to go around cost of buying property. Because if you want to buy property of like 90 million, we don't have that kind of money. So we sign an agreement. At the end of maybe
Yeah.
whereby at the day of signing, we only have to give the landowner maybe 1 million naira, 2 million naira. Then we will use that contract to go and raise money to now start building. And then while building, we sell the units to people, and that's how we get our profit. So instead of we lease properties, then later we started doing properties that customers can own fully. Is what they generally call it joint venture, where they get the land and then we buy from them. And then now we mostly buy the properties. Like the current project we have Bradford, we bought the property from the owner and then are selling it. And with time, one of the new projects we're looking at, we want to start building 5-story buildings, about 5 to 8 stories, because we see Lagos Mainland as it's ripe for that kind of construction. And one thing we notice is once we start it
Yeah.
and we are successful at it, it will encourage more developers to do it. We need to turn Yaba Surulere to mega cities. So that people will know that, okay, it's time to do things like this and then get more comfortable with building real nice apartment buildings for people. I know that it's actually a profitable thing. Because most of the developers, they're kind of scared. They're like, does it work? Does it work? We'll find out for them and let them know it works and they can actually get more. So now we just buy land and build.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In terms of like the Yaba and let's say mainland and island real estate,
Yeah.
how do you look at both of them in terms of how you're looking at
Personally, I think
development and real estate?
Island is past the peak. So if you are starting out and you are going there, you are going to the reddest ocean possible. At this point, the ocean is not even red; it's just pure blood. There's no water again. It is blood. You want to enter blood to swim, and it
There's
doesn't
no
pay you.
water.
There's no water again. I went
Interesting.
for a meeting with other developers and I had some inside scoop, and I'm like, oh, it's really bloodier than I thought. So yeah, there's nothing much to do there anymore. There's
Wow.
no challenge. While on the mainland, we have massive potential that is not yet harnessed. We have the best road network. We don't have as much crazy flooding. It's a much more centralized location. So a lot of people would prefer to live here if we have better housing here. Like for me, when I went to look for an
Yeah.
apartment, it was a struggle to find estates or just well organized apartment
Very true.
complexes. It's very rare on the mainland. And if we can bring it here, a lot more people. Because, for example, if you work in VI Ikoyi and Lekki Phase 1, which is where, and Lagos Island, which is where it seems like a lot of major companies are, if you walk around there, it's easier to go there from Yaba than it is to go there from even like Chevron in Lekki. The traffic you will face from Chevron
Exactly.
to those places, it's easier for somebody from Yaba would have gotten there, done like 1 or 2 meetings before you even get there. So we have a very huge advantage. So it's just for more developers to actually grow the city and we can harness it.
Interesting. That makes a lot of sense. I can see why you mentioned that it's a red we're
Red
looking
ocean.
for blue ocean
Yeah, it's red
opportunities.
ocean, serious one.
There are tons of I was recently passing, there was a recent flood when it rained. I think was it last month or this month? And I've been in Lekki been staying in Lekki for close to a month now. And I'm just like, what is going? And I've stayed in Yaba for the past 8 years. So
Yeah.
the kind of culture shock I'm seeing here when it rains is just wild. Like I saw a church that was covered in rain, like in
Wow.
water.
That's
Just half of
serious.
the church gone. You can't even enter the church. I was like, there was even a project that I saw when they got started, I think back in 2021. And I could see the whole people have rented it out. And I'm just like, so someone rented this place. Water just consumed almost every single thing. And I'm just wondering, how are you looking at real estate generally from people investing in this space? Let's say diasporans coming in. What should they be looking out for when they're trying to invest? And do you still feel like there's still potential?
Yeah, there is. It's just that you need to, one thing that I've noticed with investors is they need to be clear on what they are looking for. So most people who invest in real estate, most of them, they just follow sensationalism. So they just see one ad on Instagram, it sounds nice, they invest. It sounds nice, they invest. It should be a lot more deliberate and to do your maths well and say, okay, what are the numbers like? Like what's one of the reasons why we stayed in what we do is we found a niche where you not only get appreciation on a property, you also enjoy dividend from it. So you are both getting appreciation and dividend.
Yeah.
Really good appreciation. Like the property we sold last year, Leeds One, we sold around 30 million for a studio. If you want to sell it now, it's at least 22. So you have that appreciation. And then the people that own it, they are getting around 250 every month, which is around 3 million a year. So imagine buying a property for 30 million and you're making 3 million a year. In like 6 years, you already made more than the amount you bought
Make
it.
your
And the
money.
property is still yours for life. Which to me, I was telling a friend
Interesting.
of mine that does business. I told him that if it was in the US, they will probably arrest us for fraud. FBI will investigate it because these returns are ridiculous. In the Nigerian space, it's
That's
not
interesting.
it's not what you hear of often. Because like him, he had a project where he was delivering close to 50% returns on an investment per year. And I was like, guy, this is something you would actually get seriously investigated for because it's just unheard of. So most real estate investors, they don't do enough research and understand the market before they jump into it. It's more of I want to own property, I want to own property. I get people, but after your first property, you need to calm down and look at it. Like I had a client that was complaining to me that she built a house in Ikorodu and the rent she's getting is not even close to the studio apartment she bought from me in Surulere. And in my mind, I'm like, no shit. If I told you before you did it, you won't listen to me.
Yes, sir.
But going to build a 5-bedroom duplex in Ikorodu might not give you as much money as a studio in Yaba or Surulere, but then the 5-bedroom duplex might cost you 5 times the cost. So you have to be very clear on what you are looking
Exactly.
for, remove emotions out of it, and then look at your numbers. Where if your priority is the money, I understand buying sensational when you are sensational about your buying something because it looks nice. If that's what your priority, then that's good too.
How do you reconcile the dollar dynamic for investors? Do you get? So how do you reconcile like come on, this dollar thing is going up? I would have easily put my money in dollars and just lock up
Yeah,
than invest it in one of your projects. Like how do you
yeah.
reconcile
You
that
know,
kind of
when
conversation
I've
with
had
investors?
this question you have is the question I also ask myself. Why are these clients investing in this thing? If they keep that dollar to pay them more. So why I did was I started calling them up and asking them, my diaspora client, like, hey, what's up? Why are you buying? It doesn't look like a good deal. If you keep your dollar, then I found that it's true. It's not a good deal if you compare it with dollar. It's actually not. So I started calling them. Then I found out something. One is that dollar with them abroad can't buy anything. So if the property I'm selling 25 million, if you convert it to dollar, it's probably around like $12,000, $13,000. If they have that money there, the only option for them is stock. And stock market
Yeah.
is a very
Interesting.
dangerous place to put your money, especially if you don't have much knowledge. I was reading a book by Ray Dalio and he was explaining how they built their company. And I'm like, even Ray Dalio is saying, he's not sure. If Ray Dalio is not sure where the market will go to, who am I? This guy has been in the market for more than 10
Yeah.
years and he has built a very big company, Bridgewaters, and he's still like, Omo, it's not like I'm not God. See, it can go anyway. You understand? So it's for if you want to put your
Yeah.
money in stock, you have to actually study or give it to a hedge fund. But $10,000 is not something any of those people
True.
will even consider as a significant investment. So most of them prefer, okay, let me put this in Nigeria. I will get more value for it because if I put that $10,000 in Nigeria, I can get a whole ass apartment that is giving me returns. So what they mostly do with the returns is they use it to settle their Nigerian problems because most of them have family members in Nigeria, have needs in Nigeria. So they invest there to settle their Nigerian problems. And a good number of them have plans of coming back because they don't seem to find happiness
Yeah.
abroad for some reason. So there's happiness here, but there's no
For some
happiness.
reason, I don't know why.
Yeah. No, it's real. If you talk to most of them, they don't seem to have found happiness there. So they always want to come back to Nigeria. So their plan is when they come back, at least they will have a lot of things. Like I have a client that we both fantasize about her life when she comes back into Nigeria. So she was like, she has bought like 8 properties. So she's talking about, okay, I will buy one where I will stay. Then I have like 7 that will pay me rent. I will not have to work. I can now, she started talking about her favorite food, her favorite things that she'll be doing. And it made sense. It made sense.
Wow.
But I found that the most reason is that money can't do anything for them. If you want to buy a house there, you are talking about 200,000. reach $200,000. I think I'm like $500,000 up. So how many of them actually have that kind of money to put into real estate? Except a couple of them that
Money.
can get mortgage on their own house. They can get a mortgage, and it
Yeah.
usually takes all the money they have. So it's a lot easier to invest in Nigeria than it is there, and most of them have plans of coming back. But financially, it's not really the best. But if you have like very good money, I advise you put this in the US market. If you're in good, because also some of these countries don't have good capitalist system. US has a good one, but some of these
Yeah.
countries, they are not very favorable for capitalist ideas. So not all of them are actually in the US. Some of them
Yeah.
are in different other countries that their own system there don't encourage a lot of investing or a lot of money growing schemes like that.
They
So
want you to
only
spend the
occurs like
money.
in Nigeria.
They want you to spend the money. Like they are
Yeah,
encouraging you
yeah,
to
yeah.
spend the
Most of
money
them are the
on
socialist
different
governments. They don't
things.
want you to be rich. They design the country for you not to be rich. They just want you to work
Yeah.
hard, make enough to eat and be fine, and then go to bed. That's all. They are not incentivizing you to be entrepreneurial or to invest or all those things. So they usually get better deals in Nigeria.
And very heavy.
What you just said now is
I also think the
really
tax are crazy.
It's a
Taxes are
guy.
very
yeah,
It's
the
crazy.
tax.
crazy.
I let me say. What you just said now is a very fascinating thing. Like I didn't even think about that. But the money that they're even earning over there, it's not even enough to buy properties in those places.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to see that they can bring that small money and buy like 2 different apartments or 3 different apartments. And that can be settling the money that they are sending back to Nigeria, they'll even reduce it. They'll have enough money for themselves
I
and
have
they'll have
a
money,
client.
something that
He
is generating
bought
cash in
he
Nigeria.
bought 2 units for his mom. So the guy bought 2 units for his mom for lease in Cambridge, if one of our first projects. Now the mom gets from those 2 units, she gets around 1.4 million a year. Then his brother, seeing that, bought another two. So now she has 4 units. So she makes like 4.8 every year from that. But so every year, 4.8 million we send to her. And she's an elderly woman. So she doesn't need
She doesn't
anything
do
more
much.
than that. So that means they don't need to even work to send
Interesting.
out dollar again. We are sending out the money every time.
Such an interesting concept.
Yeah.
I really appreciate like the insights that I've gotten in this call. Really, in terms of like technology, I know that Adebisi and I were co-founders of a tech
Yeah.
company. We've always spoken about how technology can help, to make things easier. There have been a huge boom of, I think, past few years of PropTech solutions coming in and creating, different ways of helping people to get rent quicker, to pay for their rent, to make sure that construction is much more efficient, to make sure that construction businesses raise money. Heck, part of the first people that we partnered with you guys in Cambridge like
Yeah.
2020 as a
Thank you,
platform to
my
see how we can
guy.
raise
Here
money
for our
for the
life.
project. That's so.
Yeah, no, you went a long way. I'm telling you, that's went a long way. No, it's real. It's real. You actually
Again,
did. Yeah.
we're even learning from the experience, and you guys were also learning as well.
Yeah,
It was
yeah. It went
literally
a
one
long
of
way
the
forward.
I think we did Bradford, then we did Cambridge 2020. Those are the two projects
Yeah,
that we
yeah. Oh,
did.
yeah, yeah,
And again,
yeah.
it was a PropTech solution. So how do you feel about, I know that there was a recent Twitter thing on making rent easy,
I
making
think
housing
one lady like
affordable and
that,
everything,
Abby.
and giving your take. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
How do you think about PropTech generally?
I
From a
think I
developer standpoint,
Yeah,
when
I
you just
think
look
I
at
think
everything?
PropTech in Nigeria, right? If we have a lot more partnership with the brick and mortar real estate, would have a lot of impact because fundamentally the issue in the industry is there are no houses. There are just not enough houses. Like
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of companies that they will have like all these monthly rental thing, and most times there are a lot more people who need those houses than the houses they have available. Like even we recently
Okay.
launched monthly rental for some of our properties, and the way it went, I was surprised. I didn't think many people were open to the idea. So we have people now that they are paying 300K a month, and yet they are staying a year, and they are just okay with it because of the convenience of it. You come to an apartment that is fully furnished, and everything is there for you. The apartment complex provide electricity, everything. You always just sit down, pay your monthly rent, and that's it. And it seems to be very convenient, especially for our generation, because a lot of us we kind of are making a lot more money than previous generations, so we can afford more. So I think if there was a lot more partnership between brick and mortar businesses, brick and mortar real estate business, and the tech ones, it will go a long way, especially in the sense of using agents, utilizing agents network. I think if a lot more tech companies look at how they can use this agent to scale their products, it will go a very long way because these guys, they will get you much audience, way more audience, and most of them are also tech savvy. They're now there's a younger audience of realtors now, like they are more tech savvy. They would be able to, and if there's just more partnership, and if we get more developers too to build more houses, because one thing that I've also noticed that a problem on the other end is developers don't build houses anymore. They prefer land flipping. Go and buy land somewhere, sell it at a higher
Yeah.
price, because that one is easier. Building houses is chaotic. But the issue is that if we don't do it, things will just get worse and worse and worse and worse. It's actually getting worse, to be honest. It's going to get really bad. I feel like this housing shortage is going to get bad in the next 5 years because the rate of house being built is nowhere close to the demand. I tried to get an apartment this year because the one I'm staying is they were pissing me off. Almost after 2 months of search, I went back to them. I apologized and renewed my rent. I told them I'm going to be a good house. I ended my protest real quick.
Oh my
Like, I'm very
goodness.
sorry I ever insulted you. No, you people are the best. That's how bad the market is. So
Oh,
if
man.
we can get more partnership to build more houses, more better housing, it would go a long way.
What I'm hearing from you in terms of PropTech, because I know that a lot of people are still looking for opportunities with
Yeah.
while listening to the pod, is number one, there is a lot of opportunity with the agency parts to see how you can help them as businesses scale their operations. So that's important.
Yeah.
Number two is that there's a lot of opportunity to help developers with access to financing so that they can build more, because most of them, they don't seem, again, it makes sense that they're just focused on buying land, flipping it, because they make like a ton, they make close to 300% on just flipping alone.
Yo,
So
that flipping
I've
thing is
seen a
blood
deal
money.
300%. I'm just like, huh?
It's blood money. They make crazy money from it. And you don't have to do much work. Fence the damn thing and you're good. Just fence it. That's
You're
all.
good.
Fence it
That's
to
it.
your gatehouse and then sell dreams to people. Don't worry, after our fencing, this will be the biggest city ever. Whether it's city or not,
Ever.
that's your problem. So it's a lot easier.
It makes money. So if there is need, and I'm not the kind of person that usually like talks about government intervention and anything like that. I do know that there are a lot of ways to get financing in. There are a lot of ways to make it easier for these construction businesses to
Yeah.
find construction much more profitable.
Okay.
The other thing, in terms of, I'm going to shift more to, but I think I have one last question on investment as a developer. In terms of the flip between your customer base, because I know that a lot of Nigerians, it's very expensive to buy property now. Like you just mentioned, a property of 13 million last year is now double of that now. In terms of the type of customers that are buying your properties, what's the division between Nigerians here and Nigerians abroad buying properties from your perspective? Because that would be interesting to
Yeah,
even see.
I don't
How
have
many of them are
exact
buying
figures.
property?
I actually going to check. But the thing is, to be honest, a lot. Because even the ones that are here, they are not here often. Like I was texting with one of my clients that I thought is a Nigerian that is in Nigeria. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm in another country now. So a good, like more than half are abroad. More than half. Most
Interesting.
clients that buy properties are abroad. The ones in Nigeria, they buy too, but even those ones too, it's only a matter of time before they go abroad. In the past couple of years, it's whenever I reach out to one of my clients, oh, long time, like I've not heard from you. What's going on? I'm in UK now. I'm in US now. Even the ones that are here, they are going. So a good number of them are abroad. The ones that are not abroad, just give them time; they will soon go. So it's
Interesting.
most of them. It's most of them.
So there's even like a huge opportunity for even like technology companies to be allowing construction businesses to also tap into that diasporan side, allow them to even tap in more into that diasporan
Yeah.
side. In terms of like you guys expanding, have you guys ever thought of expanding outside Nigeria?
Yeah, I personally I
Is that
have.
something you guys have?
I've thought about it, especially the US, because when I mentioned it, my team members were looking at me strange, like, oh, you know, I told them, "Shay, they have housing crisis in US that's even worse than us. So clearly they need problem solving there. So we don't have homeless people like the way they do. So if they have that many homeless people, they
They
need more
do.
housing than we do. We don't have that many homeless people. So I'm saying that there's a huge opportunity there, very huge. But also, I'm aware it's capital intensive. So it's something I'm looking at within the next 5 years. Would have something, especially in the US, because the capital available in the US is insane. I will not. I can't imagine dying without touching that kind of US money. US money. I have eyes there. My eyes is always there. So I think we could help states in the US to build better housing and help their homeless people get housing too. Even me, I find this funny
That
to
makes a lot
say.
of sense. That would-
But it's real, they need us. They need us there too.
That makes a lot of sense. Like, just because I know that we need more businesses. A lot of people just relocate to that, sell their business here, then relocate. But they never think of expanding their business and seeing what opportunities that they can actually leverage when
And
they
personally, I'm not
relocate.
a
It's
fanatic
always
of going
a
to
situation of,
abroad to go and be working. If I go abroad, it's to actually start my business there. I don't I don't like the way they even do their work safe, where you be working till you die. If I'm going to work that hard, I'll be an entrepreneur, please.
exactly.
Like I might as well just be like, imagine
I
working
think,
like 18 hours a day to get salary. I might as well put the energy
yeah.
into my own business and make good money.
It's interesting. Is there anything that you're seeing right now in terms of real estate that you want to test out? Because I know you mentioned that you're going to do like 5-story buildings in Yabas. That's
Yeah,
something that's, or on the mainland, that's something that people are not doing at all. You also mentioned about estates. On the island here, you see a ton of estates being created,
yeah.
but when you're on the mainland, it's very difficult to find. In fact, the ones you see, they're even hidden. It's as if they're hiding them
Bro,
around Yaba areas.
yeah.
I,
Yeah, it's
so
true.
it's interesting. Like, do you see any other trends?
Yeah, I
Do you see
think
any other
I think there's
trends
going to be a
on the
mass
mainland that you
exodus
want
from
to?
the island to the mainland in the next couple of years. It has started already, but you know how when the market was about to crash in 2008. If you watched the Big Shots, it was first strippers not having money. It was one of the big signs. Then he was talking to one of the strippers. She's like, she has 4 mortgages. I feel like we are at that place in the
Yeah.
real estate industry in Nigeria. So there are some signs that are already happening, being small exodus from island to mainland, from developers to people. I think it's going to become a lot more significant in the next couple of years, like crazy significant, where people just droves. But the only thing that would make it work is if the mainland is prepared for such. At this point, we're not. So if we have more people coming to development to create
Yeah, nice.
housing for the people coming, then we can attract them. But for now, I don't think we are ready for that. But with time, I see it happening. It's going to be a very serious exodus. And then all of a sudden, Yaba would start trending again, Surulere will come back alive. Everything would it will because we have the capacity as a state to do that.
Do you think that there will be? Is there enough land on the mainland for all of
Oh
this?
yes, there
Do you think
is.
that? Because I think another thing is interesting.
Yeah, there is. It's just if you have enough money. So it was part of what I was talking
That's
to my
true.
team about. Like, from my office, you see a lot of 3-story building that looks like they are not for sale. And I was telling them that with the right amount, these people will sell. So one of the properties we want to buy now, it's a
Yeah.
2,000 square meter land. Their houses there, they're like 5 or 6 houses on that land. But the owners are selling. Once we pay, we would settle the people in the property. They will leave. We'll level everything and then build twin towers. We want to build 2 6-story buildings on that land. So it's the same. Once we have liquidity, we'll meet more people and ask them, hey, what's up? Would you sell? And that's how development is in the US. If you hear a lot of stories of, oh, developers wanted to come to this area and this person now refused to sell, then they will now build the estate around that person's house. So it's not like the land was there. They
Yeah.
approach those people and say, hey, what's up? We actually have an idea for this location. How much do you want to sell for? And they basically pressure those people to sell their houses, except a couple of them are just stubborn.
Hmm.
So I feel like in Nigeria, we don't even need to apply too much pressure. Just tell them the right amount, and you will see people that say we'll never sell, start thinking about it. So there is land. There is land. Most of the houses here are not well. Demolish everything, buy it, demolish it, build what needs to be built there.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That really makes sense. Because I've always gone around Yaba and I'm like, oh, there's no land, but I can see that there are buildings that people are actually open to, like, letting go and seeing how you can build really good structures on top of them. So that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah,
There have been
yeah,
a
actually,
huge. I think I saw a report. Sorry, BC. Yeah.
like I'm like agreeing with you actually.
I think that's one thing I've noticed, which is there's been a huge surge on shortlet deals. I saw a report the other day that shortlet has grown in the last 3 years by over 200%, 300% ish. How are you seeing that whole shortlet industry coming along on your side? What do
Yeah,
you think
yeah,
about that?
shortlets. The thing is, shortlets is really very good, and people are beginning to realize that there's no big deal about shortlets. It's basically just hotel. And whenever I have conversation with clients, the clients like,
Yeah.
are you sure in the next 10 years this shortlet will make money? Blah blah blah. What if the trend goes? And I'm like, hotels are they have they gone out of trend? They've not. So if worst case scenario, we just give as much service as hotel does. So it's basically a privatized hotel. And now that we sell units, what we are basically doing is we have a hotel and each room is owned by different individuals. That's all. And in fact, as we are building
Interesting.
shortlet apartment, we are realizing that we are slowly becoming a hotel, small, small. Before you know, one day you see me launch and I'm competing with Radisson Blue, and that's what it is. And each room is owned by a different person. So it's no different from a hotel. Once you see it as a hotel, you realize that they will always have people there. And the funny thing is, for us, we do marketing. Most of these hotels don't do any marketing other than put a sign in front of their building. Some of them are so lazy, they don't even put a sign. Yet when you go there, people are there. So it's going to keep becoming more of a trend. One guy did a
Very true.
video saying that it's cheaper to live in a hotel than to rent an apartment. Very soon that will be very, very true. The monthly rental apartment we rent for 300K a month. In a year, you spend 3.6 for that apartment. That same apartment, if you are renting it a year, you pay 1 million rent. Total package is 1.7. This total package, no, 2.5 was
Hmm.
2.2 because you pay 500K deposit for diesel. Then now this is 2.2. You've not even bought one furniture. To furnish it the way we furnished it, we spent close to 3 million. So if you now add that 3 million to that 2.2, that's 5. So it's even cheaper to just pay the monthly rent and get on with it. And you even get to pay in installments instead of you having as much as 5 million to be able to move into the same apartment. And it keeps getting worse. Very soon now, self will be 1.5 million rent. By that time, it's just better you go and look for a hotel to
Definitely.
be staying.
It actually makes
That's
sense.
actually very crazy. Like, it's actually very crazy.
It's
And I'm
crazy.
just wondering, can who would afford it? Like, can we have affordable housing in Nigeria? Like,
Ashifa
cause
sailed though. Ashifa
it,
sailed. It's
because you
not,
know sometimes
yeah.
you see solution, you see solutions like, oh, I want to solve housing. Like, there was a Twitter trend, and I'm like, I don't know about you people, but if you're not the one building the house, you can't really say, oh, you don't own the house. I don't know how you want to solve. Like, how do you want it to be affordable? I don't know how that, like, I don't know, but
So
like, it would be nice to hear from
yeah,
you.
one of our big plans, right?
Okay.
Our current goal is to build 100,000 units of apartments because we noticed that nobody has more control than the developer. We rent the apartment, what we
Yeah.
recommend to our clients as a good rental value. We manage the apartment the way we see fit. So the idea is if we have 100,000 units, we can crash the market if we want because we have so many units that if we choose to drop prices, it will affect every other person, especially if the 100,000 is concentrated maybe in a state or in a small, like let's say Lagos. If we build 100,000 units in Lagos, we essentially control the market because other people will be competing with us. So I think the only people that actually have power to change things are developers. Because when you're a developer, you determine the price and all those things. Then for affordable units, affordable housing, the issue that I've noticed with the conversation is they expect the people living in the house to be able to afford it in terms of buying, which to me is not all that realistic. But if we can find a system where people buy the house but manage it in a way that is affordable to the people staying there. Like the houses we do 300K a month. If we want to do it 150, it's possible. We can do it at 150. We can do it at 200. We will do cheaper versions of those apartments with time. Maybe it won't be as furnished or as serviced as the ones that were renting for 300K. So that way it's affordable for some kind of people and it's easier to move into because one thing I noticed with the convenience of monthly rental, it's not about the money itself. It's about how fast can you get the place. So when you see the kind of houses we market for monthly
Mm.
rental, hardly do we show someone the house and they'll be like, nah, I'll check others. It's usually the best you will see. So, and then there's no too much logistics of I need to bulk 2 million, 2.5. It's just pay 300K and move. Most people have that one. Then you figure out the next one by the next month. So that convenience alone goes a long way. And we are looking at by the time we have up to a 10,000 units, we can start dropping the prices. We can start doing incentive plan. We can have a secondary product that we can say, okay, when you use the secondary product, you get rent-free months and you get discount on your rent and things like that, and create some kind of ecosystem. But the only person that has such power to control is the developer. Every other person is just an agent and they cannot make as much change. So if you're an agent, like I did a video about how people blame agents for everything. Agents don't even control agency fee. As a developer, I say the agency fee is 100K. I mean, everybody says that 100K. I can crash the agency fee for my property to 10K. Like I can decide that okay, I don't want to even collect agency fees. If I say I don't collect agency for all the properties that we own, and that's it. No agent. And if you charge agency fee, I won't work with you. So developers have more control. Just that most developers are nonchalant about it. They don't care. And the ones that care, they find it's hard work. So most of the more enlightened ones are more on the island. They are more of let me sell and move on with my life. When the main money, the main control is actually managing those properties and making sure you control how people perceive these properties. So that's what we are hoping to do. And my entire focus is how can we build more? How can we build more? One client was telling me we are building too much, and I was just looking at that and laughing. We want to build more. We want to next year. We want to make sure we build 1,000 units. Once I can figure that one out, upper year I'm looking at maybe 5,000. Before you know, I have 10,000, 20,000 people staying in my property. We can create a new perception of how housing works in the country.
I really like the flow you took because I think that for the longest time we've always had the conversation on how do we make it affordable. Like it's always a Twitter fight with a startup trying to solve it with technology. And I've been of the opinion that like to be very honest, you can't solve it if you are not the major driver. Like if you are
Yeah,
not like technology is supposed to enhance or make something easy.
yeah,
So I really like that you mentioned that the best way to make it affordable is to make managing it affordable. Like I was always wondering how exactly that would really go, right? And yeah, I think that you actually like did like a very great job on that. My question would be on agents, right?
okay.
Agents can be so I know you like it, like oh agents don't but they are very annoying agents. Is there
They
a
are
right way to pick? Is there a right way to pick the right agent or something?
right agents. That's a very most of them they lie a lot. I think that's the problem with agents that if they can eradicate that thing, the perception of agents will be different. You will see an obviously small room. You will say it's spacious. What's your problem? Like just tell there was my brother needed a two-bedroom. And he said he went out with this agent, and the agent was showing him houses with pit latrine. And guess what the agent said is their suits. What the point of a suit is going to be a pit? And the agent focus was actually all of them are a suit too. So it's a two-bedroom with a suit pit latrine. Like there's a hole. You poop inside a hole. It makes no sense. And it's something that he would have helped a lot by saying, hey, Alpha, if you have a budget of so amount, you will get this fancy kind of houses. But with this your budget, let me tell you what you can see here. The houses are like this, the houses are like that. But the another issue with agents is why I don't seem to blame them much is they can't most times they don't even know what they are going to see. So as you are seeing that house for the first time, that's what you saw the first time the agent is seeing the house. Because the market moves so fast that let's say they post a property. Before they will get a client, they call, hey, what's up? I have someone for this property. They realize that property is already rented out, but the inspection is already booked. So immediately they now have to make calls for new ones. And most times people will not want to even show them the house if they don't have a client with them. So as they are coming with you to show you that house, that's the first time they are seeing it. That's why when I looked at the whole thing, the only people that can solve it is developers because the houses that I built, I manage. I have enough pictures and videos of all of them. I can tell you exactly to the T what it looks like. So anytime it's available, I can give you a full online tour because I have that much access. I can even, if I choose to do 3D view of every street of all the properties we have and the interiors, I can do that. And if I store it in my archive, I can still use it next year when the place is available again. But for agents, they are just coming, seeing
Hmm.
it for the first time before they even go and start doing video and content. Boom, it's gone. So, but if I can have like 10,000
But
units, can do all the design, all the whatever I want. Once I do it every year, I might just renew it once. These buildings we are building now, the 5 stories, we are going to be having about 60 units in each building. So those 60 units, I just need 2 videos of every detail and I put it online. Whenever there's a space available there, you can go and watch the video. You see everything you want to see. So it's just the developers that can have that much access, information, control, everything clients want is developers that can give them.
And Omo, first of all, the real estate space is chaotic. Even me, that is on the technology angle, you are
It's
very
crazy.
stressful. You are extremely stressful, right? And the interesting thing is, developers are very interested in who is buying. It's like any other person, whoever is left or who you are renting, once they sell to you, every other person will be fine.
Yeah.
And that's like that in itself can be a problem. But my question would be, if I want to buy a property today, what are the things that I should look out for and the things that if I see, I should just carry my slippers and run?
Yeah. I think people should engage the lawyers more when they are buying property. I remember a friend of mine wanted to buy a land and he texted me, "Hey, how far? I want to buy this land." I told him, "I send me the agent's number." He sent me the agent's number. I spoke to the agent. I was like, "Okay, I send me documents." This guy sent me a floor plan of the estate that he designed themselves. I looked at it and I was like, "Guy, send me the land document." This guy kept going back and forth, sending me artwork, designs. And I'm like, "Guy, I know what a land document look like. Can you send me the land document?" And then he couldn't. I called my friend, like, "See, these people don't have a land document." And he's like, "What do you mean? All my colleagues have bought already." Oh, bye. This guy don't have he doesn't have a title document. So what happened is the guy pitched to them, said all the sensational things he has in his mouth. They bought into the emotion. Boom, they paid, and nobody did anything. So I think if you want to buy properties, engage a lawyer, no matter or somebody in the industry to help you check title documents and all those things. Then secondly, you need to be very clear on why you are buying property. You can, if I'm buying a property of where I'm going to stay, like let's say I want to retire one day and I don't want noise, I can go and buy land in the Leki, knowing that if I'm living there, it will be quiet, it will be nice. Maybe I can afford a helicopter to be moving around Lagos. That's a good deal. If I'm buying and saying, okay, I want to flip later, you know the best one to go for. So you have to be clear on why you are buying to, so that you buy the right property.
Hmm, that's actually very spot on. Have a lawyer, know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know what they want. Like it's like you are trying to say, what do you want? And they're just going round and round and
Bro.
round and round. And it's just like where is this heading to? Do you think there's a right time or there's a right age to buy a property or own a property?
Once you have money,
I've always
Once you have money, start buying. It's money that is the problem, not age. If I say okay, 25, but 25 you don't get money, how you want to take buy? If I say 30, if you are 30 I don't have the money. So it's once you have the money. But I would say I need people to stop trying to invest more money in real estate. Like if you have less than 5
hmm,
million, I don't think you should be worried about investing generally, to be honest. Because all the people that make money in invest are the big boys. They are the people that put in
hmm,
Nigeria 5 million up, you can start enjoying investing. Anything below that, you'll be a victim. You actually be because the deals available
hmm,
lower grade are usually many of them are just shady, to be honest. They're just shady deals. So that's why a lot of them end up putting money in Ponzi scheme and all those things. So calm down, gather your money. Once your money is above 5 million, you can start looking for things to put the money into.
hmm. That's actually very interesting because sometimes you see somebody with 500K and say, "Oh, I want to go and buy a property.
Ah, you
I
should
saw a
calm down. You should
property
calm
in
down,
Kodu.
please.
I saw a property somewhere." And you're just, but is there a difference between the kind of real estate investment? Do you want to talk about it? Like, is there a property to buy in, to stay in, or a property that can generate you money? Is there some difference?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if you're buying property to stay in, right, you're not really looking at investment. You are just looking at location that is nice and is convenient for you. But if it's for investment, it doesn't matter where it
Mm,
is. As long as it's a good deal, the numbers are good, you buy. So what you look at is different when you're buying investment property versus property you want to stay.
mm,
So if staying, you look at your own personality, which area fits your personality, which area is close to your church, your workplace, and all those things.
hmm. That's actually, you are a very big, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're a very big fan of real estate. I think I saw a video of yours saying that, oh, you would invest in real estate first before you go to any other asset class.
Yeah,
My question is, why?
it's
Why
safe
though? Are
now.
there like
I'm all those
different
asset
kinds? Is
class, they
it a
fear
passive
me.
way
Oh.
or an active?
I don't know how to see. I'm very risk averse. I'm scared. I've seen what crypto has done to people, stock, all those guys. Real estate. One thing I like about real estate, even when you enter a bad deal, there's always a way to recover something. So there are sometimes we sign projects that are
Hmm.
not really good.
Actually,
They're not good deals. What we do, we sell it. We also will find some. We might not make all our money back, but we'll make close to 50%, if not more. So even when we are in bad deals and we are coming out of it, we always have a way to at least recover something. So that's why I really like it. Why the rest? If it's
Hmm.
bad deal, it's probably going to be zero. You're not getting anything.
Hmm. That's actually true. That's actually, and I think the others also take like a deep level of understanding and a deep level of risk tolerance. And I think that a lot of Nigerians are not they don't like risks at all. But is there like an active way of active way of making money in real estate and a passive way? Do you want to talk about that for a bit?
Can you come again? I didn't quite hear you.
So, is there an active way of making money from real estate? Like, yeah, is there something you need to do that, oh, on a regular, this is my job and real estate? And is there something where, oh, you are just sleeping in your room and you're just making money? Because the stocks and other asset class can be tagged as passive income.
Yeah.
So, is that something
So
available in real
for
estate also?
passive income is you buy rental properties. That's the best way to get passive income. When you buy rental properties, you'll be able to get good returns from them. But for you said the one of active that you do actively become a realtor, especially if you don't have much
yeah.
money. Become a realtor, you make the fastest money. I've seen magic happen with us here. We have people that have been with us for less than a year. They've made more than 10 million in commission. So become a realtor. That's the fastest way if you don't have money. If you have money, partnership with developers is very underrated. You can double your money in 18 months if you partner with the right developer and the right deal. What I usually
Hmm.
recommend to people that have a lot of money is buy land, sign a JV. You will triple the value of your land by the time the developer finish building. Whatever it
Hmm.
gives you, you probably by the time you sell it, you have times three your land without even waiting for value appreciation or anything. Just that partnership with the developer building on your land has tripled the value. So those are the ways you can make a lot more money with real estate.
I think it's time for me to resign. Like, I found a new career path. I'm going to,
You know it's like that.
I'm
Yeah.
going to leave you. I'm going to leave you. There's something that even for us we face is people ask, is the property insured? Is the property insured? What exactly is insurance with property?
Eh,
What
insurance
is
does
it?
not really, I don't know,
What,
but people think
what
insurance will
about
cover
it?
everything that they are looking for, but not quite. So when you insure a property, it doesn't mean anything
Hmm.
can happen and you're insured. It's usually okay if it burns, they would put it back to the way it was. Then we even insure while construction, but personally, I don't
Hmm.
even know what that does because we've never had anything on site and we'll go and meet them at insurance can say help us. So insurance is nice, but it
Hmm.
doesn't cover everything.
That's actually very interesting. Like when you say it does not cover everything, what are those things that it will never
If you
actually
have a
cover?
bad deal, insurance will not save you from a bad deal. That's your business. If the building is insured and it's still a bad deal, if it's done, you are still so insurance is just to cover things like fire and natural disasters on the building. That's all. But I think people think
Hmm.
insurance is once you do insurance or more anything that happen, you get your money back. That's not how insurance work. So it's just to cover damages, if any,
Hmm.
depending on the kind of insurance they get on the property.
Have you been into a bad deal? Because the way you're saying this bad
Every
deal,
day,
be like say
bro.
your eyes have
Bad
seen.
deals every time. Ah, God. I've cried now. Do you know how many tears I've tears?
Do you want to talk
Ah,
about
bad deal
one?
every time. Every time. There are a lot of bad deals. But you clean yourself up and go for the next one. It's a normal thing. But I've gotten
Fair
better
enough. Do
over
you
the
want to tell us
years.
one that made you
The
cry?
first deal I did. I think you guys, that Bradford, that one, the first one, that white building in Oneke, the people sure shaky.
Yeah.
The person we partnered with was a fraudster. So even the units that are supposed to go with us, she kept renting it out. So we're supposed to have some part of the building to ourselves.
Wow.
We just come one day, somebody has moved into the apartment. Ah, what happened? Somebody else rented it out. The person we partnered with. She was just defrauding people left and right on the project. So it cost a lot of money. We lost a lot of money, but it got better.
That's actually very nice. So I have like few questions, not even few, like three, as we just like try to wound down. So you and Jam said a lot of house flipping, house flipping. What exactly is it, and what does it entail?
Flipping. Did you say house flipping?
Yes,
House
or
flipping is
land
you buy a
flipping.
house at a
What does
Yeah, house
price,
flipping
flipping.
itself?
then you make a little renovation, you sell at a higher price. But most times, what we're talking about is mostly for land. So people just buy land. So if you buy land
Hmm.
in bulk, it's cheaper. So let's say you buy like 10 acres, it's very cheap because they're selling in block. Then when you now start selling it in plots, you can increase the price, sell it in plots, and you make a lot of money.
Hmm. That's actually very interesting. If somebody is supposed to start a construction business, what would you tell the person?
Yeah, hope you are ready to suffer. That's is the person. Hope you are ready to suffer. Then once you are ready, I will shake the person and be like, let's make more. Things always go wrong,
Mm-hmm.
guys.
So after that, what's the next thing they should do?
No, they should start now. Once they start, they'll start seeing what I'm talking about. I recently partnered with someone. I was telling him that,
Okay.
see, in this industry, everything that will go wrong will probably go wrong. So because some things went wrong and he was complaining, I'm like, if you are complaining, then we have a long journey ahead because more things will go wrong. We just have to know how to manage them when they do.
Hmm. That's that's actually very true. Actually,
Yeah.
more things actually go wrong in businesses, and I think that
It's
just
crazy.
knowing that it will go wrong ahead of time is just like
It's
it's
better.
just important and it just helps you prepare your mind
Yeah.
to get. So we're in the final session and almost like my favorite session of the pod, which is the light up session, just to know every other thing outside from work. So my first question would be: if you're not working, what are you doing? And you're not in your bar, you're not mixing your
the
mocktails.
only the
What are
only
you
thing I do is ah, how do I say this now? Hang out with my partner. Let me put it eloquently. Hanging out with my
doing?
that's the only thing I do.
Hmm.
I don't watch football. I don't. There's no time to do anything again. I'm not even doing enough of that at this
Hmm.
point.
That
So yeah, I don't have much of hobbies.
What's your favorite song? All time favorite song. So we
All
have a
time favorite
Spotify
song.
playlist
Kanye West,
where we
Run
add
Away.
everybody.
I'll put that one. Run Away by Kanye
Hmm.
West.
That's actually very interesting. Do you have a location for relaxation? Like
Spa.
just somewhere that you
This
just
spa.
like
There's this
all
spa
of you are
in
showing
Lekki,
this fresh.
in Ikeja and Radisson Blue. Very of this Amani Spa. Love it. That's like my favorite best thing to do to relax now.
That's actually very nice. You're chopping the head of your
I'm trying.
your
I'm
your
I'm
life.
trying.
Like
Small
you are
small.
really enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
So next thing would be if you were supposed to say something to your younger self, like maybe the best advice you have ever had, what would it be?
I'll say continue. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'll give him a hug. I say you will suffer, but it will be worth it. So you should just continue.
Right, have you seen a lot of
You
shege?
know,
This one that you have
I
said
feel
so far,
like
like
it helps when you know you're going to see Shaggy and you see it. It's just like, okay, cool. I am aware. So yeah, just tell him you go through a lot, but to be well.
oh, that's really good. That's actually really good. So I know you have a school. I know you have a real estate
Oh
school. Do you want to
yes,
speak to
yes.
it a bit as we draw the curtain? So yeah, over to you.
Oh yeah, so we started from scratch building Flinx Realty and we learned a lot.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I noticed, like when I was starting, I it was hard for me to find mentors, especially Nigerian mentors. So I ended up listening to people in the US a lot. So we started the school to reach out to more people to tell them it's possible. Because there's this notion in Nigeria that this whole start a business thing from scratch and build it big. It's not a Nigerian thing, it won't work. I like me now, I dropped out from Unilag and what I heard a lot was, oh, you are not Mark Zuckerberg. Harvard is not Unilag, all those bullshit. So the whole point of the page is to show that Unilag and Harvard, there's nothing much. It's not like I'm making billions of dollars or anything. But the amount of money I'm making, if a lot of people can get themselves to that point, they'll really be enjoying their life. So the whole point is just document everything. And I also see it as a way, because one of the reasons that propelled me to actually do it is people around me, my family, my friends. When I see them suffer, even after they've gone to get masters, PhDs, and I see them at home, they don't really have what they are doing. It hurts me a lot. And the point of the YouTube channel is if I have other family members or friends, I would recommend them to go there and they'll be able to learn everything they need to actually make good money for themselves.
Hmm. That's actually very true
Yeah.
because the job market
It's crazy.
is
Yeah.
another is another story entirely. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brian. This was like a masterclass.
Thank
Even
you
me
very
that is in
much.
the
I
real estate
appreciate.
self, I actually learned absolutely a lot.
Masterclass.
No problem.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for tuning in to today's episode. Did you learn so much? I did. I did. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely did. And yeah, see you on the next episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Cheers, guys.
Okay. Bye bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.